My step-siblings threw a party when my mom died. Now they are throwing a fit because I've got the inheritance. For context, I am the product of an affair. My father was married when I was born, and his marriage fell apart. My dad eventually divorced his now ex-wife, and his 3 kids have always resented me for it. I understand what happened between our parents was messy and destroyed their happy family, but I was just a baby, and they've punished me for it my whole life. Growing up, they excluded me from everything. They didn't want me around, made cruel comments when I was there, and acted like I didn't exist unless they were making me feel unwelcome. The worst part was when my mom passed away when I was 19. While I was mourning my mother's death, they openly celebrated. I found out they made jokes about how the trash took itself out and threw a party less than a month after the funeral to celebrate it. That broke me. I've had no contact with them for years. Our shared grandmother wasn't much better. She wasn't outright cruel to me, but she favored my half-siblings. They spent vacations and summers with her while she barely acknowledged me. She also made it known on more than one occasion that she wanted her jewelry to go to my oldest half-sister when she passed away as the oldest female grandchild, since she never had any daughters. It was well established to everyone who knew her that this was her intention. However, she didn't leave a notarized will, so legally, her estate went to my dad as her only child. To my shock, my dad gave me the entire jewelry collection. He said he regretted how the family had treated me and wanted me to have something meaningful. It was the first time he had ever done something to acknowledge me truly, and I was floored. Now, my half-siblings are furious, especially my oldest half-sister. She's demanding I give her some of the jewelry, claiming that since she was closer to our grandmother and always intended for her sister to have it, it's unfair that I kept it all. She even said I wasn't really part of the family and has been calling me selfish and accusing me of stealing what was rightfully hers. I refused. I told her that after years of being treated like garbage, I'm not giving up the one thing my dad has ever done to acknowledge me. She accused me of being bitter and petty, saying I was using this to punish them for things that happened years ago. Update. I decided to stand firm in keeping the jewelry. This is the first meaningful gesture my dad has ever made towards me, and I'm not going to give it up, especially to people who have done nothing but make me feel like an outsider my entire life. For greater clarification, the jewelry also represents a greater apology to me. No one had ever apologized for the treatment I faced throughout my entire childhood, even when I chose to cut them off. Not for the constant name-calling, not for the actual slurs they would regularly call me, not for the unwanted comments about my weight and how I was a pig just like my mother, none of it. Before, this was the only apology I've ever received, even tangentially relating to my childhood. I didn't want to close the door to reconciliation completely, so I reached out to my dad to discuss everything. I asked him why he gave the jewelry to me, and what he thought about the backlash from my half-siblings. He admitted that he regrets how he handled things during my childhood, and feels that he prioritized his other kids at my expense. He made amends by giving me the jewelry, even if it's late. I also told him about how my half-siblings were treating me now and the things they had said about my mom in the past. He was upset and said he would speak to them about their current behavior, though that wasn't my intention, and I doubt it would make much of a difference. As for my half-siblings, the situation has only escalated. My oldest half-sister sent a long message accusing me of being vindictive and selfish, claiming I was taking the jewelry out of spite. She tried to guilt-trip me again by mentioning how close she was to our grandmother, and how much she wanted these pieces to remember her. I didn't respond, but I've saved the messages if things worsen. Unexpectedly, my middle half-brother reached out privately. He admitted he was wrong for how he treated me in the past and apologized. He said he doesn't care about the jewelry and wants to move forward. I told him I appreciated his apology, but I needed time to process everything before I could even consider having a relationship with him. I'm still in contact with my oldest half-sister and youngest half-brother. At this point, I don't see that changing. To those wondering about the jewelry, I've decided to appraise and restore some pieces. I plan to wear a few of them on special occasions and store the rest safely. They hold sentimental value to me now, not because of my grandmother, but because they represent a step toward my dad finally seeing me as part of the family, even if it's imperfect and overdue. That said, after speaking with my middle half-brother, I've come to understand most of my half-sister's anger and attacks come from a place of grief. As such, I plan to give her my grandmother's favorite pair of earrings. She wore them constantly, and while I doubt my sister would be grateful for me, I'm sure she'd appreciate the gesture nonetheless. ETA. The comments have made me realize that I've probably been giving my sister too much benefit of the doubt. While I do want to return the earrings to her, I think I'll offer to let her repurchase them instead. Though for the people concerned that letting her take them may incite her to sue me for the rest, I'll see how soon I can speak to a lawyer for a consultation.